Morris here. I'm going to do a second live lesson over the Don Rich country guitar style. For those of you just joining me and for those that will be joining, today's Thursday, Monday, we talked about some rhythm ideas. So I'm going to do a quick little recap because a lot of that stuff is going to come right into this playing when we talk about today, the lead ideas. But first, just to inform everyone, this is all part of the course I teach. It's broken into 4 sections looking at the rhythm and the lead guitar styles of Don Rich and how both of these are really tied together, and there's not too much difference. It's mainly what he doesn't play when he's playing lead guitar, or excuse me, when he's playing rhythm guitar. And so it's going to look at the first 2 sections, look at like a lot of the fundamentals like the pentatonics and kind of the main positions he plays out of, and some signature licks and some double stops and chicken picking ideas. And then the second 2 sections are 2 little studies on applying it to a rhythm context and like a classic kind of style Buck Owens shuffle, and a lead guitar context over the same kind of shuffle with the changes. So what we were doing Monday is we were camping out in the key of G as if we were playing some kind of, Buck Owens style shuffle where we're playing G to the C, back to the D, and then to the G again, and maybe a quick D if we want to. Sometimes we play it, sometimes we don't in our lead and rhythm playing. So that's kind of our basis. So we talked about just playing off of, in a rhythm context, just of the 1 and the flat 7 of G. So you could take a whole progression. It's going to sound a little boring because there's not too much stuff going on, but you could do this and it'll sound like it fits. You could just play G, C, D, G, D, and you would get that kind of Don Rich sound. Now that's really, really simple. You're just, that's over G, that's over C, that's over D, and up here could be over D2. So really simple ideas of just going 1 to flat 7. So you've got really simple. Nothing hard about that. But now it gets more interesting when we start adding the other notes from the pentatonics in and changing up the rhythm a little bit. So if we're playing and want to add in the 5th, right? So 1, 2, the D is the 5 of G. So we could go to the C, and we can add that in and we get some more sounds that are going on, right, over that kind of progression. Now, we can also start adding the root notes in a lower position. So that'd be that low G down there. So you might go. That is now kind of opening the door, getting a more fuller sound. And then I did it a little bit, and I'm going through this quickly. This is all in Monday's lesson. But now what we can do is start connecting the chords. So what I mean by that is, if you've got a G here, our C's here, and our D's here, those are our roots. So now we're going to find different ways of using just your major scale of notes, pool of notes, or chromatics and getting us there. So if I'm playing to the C, to the D, so hopefully you saw that I was using a few scalar notes, and chromatic notes to connect those. And that is a really, really quick way of describing his rhythm playing, using all those little components and building them all up together. Now, one thing we did add in the mix there, and this is now kind of transitioning us more into the lead stuff, but you can hear him do it in the rhythm, is starting to add what I call the Buckaroo double stop. And this is that kind of sound. And that is just taking your chord on your 5th string, just like a major chord, kind of the extended power chord, if you will, and messing around with the 2nd and 3rd string, so that's a C and E in the case of C, the B flat and D, so that's the flat 7 and the 9 or the 2, and then suspending it and playing a C and F. So if we just play this, and I'm going to do this quick, but it's all in the chorus. If we do this, we get all those sounds. Now to make it sound more like, the typical Buck Owens, Buckaroo, Bakersfield Sound thing, we're going to start adding in the bass note and the 5th with that double stop. So now you have... So we can add that in, and that works really nicely underneath a singer because it acts more like a pad, right? It doesn't really take away from what's going on. So if we're adding that in, we might go 1, 2, 1. So I added it and the D first and the C second. And if you do that in like a little verse progression, works beautifully. And it adds contrast to your fills. So that's kind of where we were Monday, where we finished Monday. Now we're bringing it into the lead playing. So all of that stuff works for lead playing. And a lot of the time, if I'm starting a solo and trying to channel that Buck Owens sound, I'm definitely going to start off with something like that. And then I'm probably going to go... something like that. So we can use all of those things and just shift them right on over into the lead playing. But the next kind of thing is talking about the pentatonics. And because we're guitarists, we all love this, right? We've got all of that right there. That's Don Richland. But the way in which he does this, he does a few things that are pretty signature to his sound. So if we're playing, I think the first thing that I learned from him in the more lead context is a lick like this. So it's a really cool lick. We're just playing G, F, and then we're taking the C and bending it up to a D. So if you're playing it in the context, you might go... And see, you're already falling right back into that rhythm, you know what I mean, stuff that we did previously, but it's now lead stuff. So rhythm and lead, not really a difference. So you could take something like that and start your solo. So really most of what I just played was based off that one lick and then all my rhythm stuff I did. It's great. And you can have a lot of fun and just build ideas off of that. And it's, again, rhythm into lead, lead into rhythm. It works together. So let's mess around real quick with that lick and kind of get some more bang for your buck. If we have this, we can double up the speed. So like in that last kind of turnaround when I went... I doubled it up a little more. I sped it up and added some more notes. So you can kind of mess around with it like that way. Another thing we can do is something where he would bend this first and then grab that G at the top on the first string. So you have... That's a really common phrase you would do. So just bending up. And then you're into your C. So let's do a little chorus like that, reusing a lot of these same ideas. And that's kind of how you would use that thing. So you just got to do it and experiment around with them. And that is kind of, I would take that and run with it, and then look at next where you could add that into higher places on the guitar, different positions. So for instance, that using that bend, and we talk about this more in the course, but using that bend of the C up to the D, but specifically that kind of thing, you can do it right here. So if I was starting a solo, and there's a really cool break, huge to me, I believe it's Tiger by Tail or Love's Gonna Live Here. He does this, something like that. So you could take, you're in your G pentatonics right here, so you can take that bend, and you're just working down the chicken picking of it. So you pre-bend it, and wow, that's just a higher octave of. So technically you could go. It works. So now you got, if you want to build up the intensity to your solo, or the soloist played low before you and you want to play higher, boom, there you go. That's all of that pentatonic information all right there. So you could go. And it all fits. So take those ideas and then just move them around and see if you can move them in higher positions where you frequently play those pentatonic stuff. And that's just going to get you more bang for your buck. So I'll play 2 little choruses of that, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop in a message, and I appreciate y'all tuning in. And this will be up, I think it's going to be under 15 minutes on Instagram TV as well as my YouTube channel. So go check that out and go check out the full course. Appreciate it. See you guys next time.